If you were stranded on a deserted island, who would you rather be stranded with? The smart office nerd who nobody wanted to go to happy hour with, but has been studying how to survive in the wilderness? Or the senior exec who doesn't have an ounce of survival skills, but if you make it off this island, you might have a better chance at a promotion? Send Help is a horror comedy starring Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien. But by far my favorite was Rachel McAdams starring as Linda Little. This story is about an office nerd, Linda Little, and a corporate exec, Bradley Preston. Linda is the frumpy, socially awkward, but very smart person in the office that has been promised a promotion. However, when the former CEO's son Bradley takes over, that promotion is given to a fraternity brother. When Linda questions Bradley, Bradley tells her it takes more than brains to be in a leadership position. It takes charisma and attractiveness. Although Bradley will not be given this promotion to Linda, he is impressed by her questioning, so he invites her on a work trip. Now, unfortunately, on their way to the work trip, the plane crashes. And the only survivors are who? Bradley and Linda. Linda is able to drag Bradley to the shore, and Linda immediately goes into action. She starts gathering food, she makes shelter, and she starts to tend to Bradley's wounds. Now, once Bradley wakes up, he's pretty dependent upon Linda, but he's still talking to her like she needs to follow his direction. And she quickly lets him know, we are not at work anymore. So she leaves him stranded without food and water for a few days, just to show him, you'll need me before I ever need you. Once she comes back around, he plays nice and allows her to take the lead. She shows him how to navigate the island, but he's starting to notice that she's more so concentrating on how to survive than she is on how to leave the island. One night, as sort of a peace offering, he cooks for her, and she realizes that he's poisoned her. While she's in and out of consciousness, he grabs a raft that he's made in secret and tries to escape the island. Unfortunately, the waves and the current wash him right back on the island. And this is the part of the movie where we start to see her deranged side. She has to teach him a lesson and paralyzes him with octopus toxin, and she pretends to castrate him. Now, this scares him to death, but she warns him next time she won't be pretending. The next day, Linda is gathering fruit across the island, and who shows up? Bradley's fiance. Bradley's fiance has taken it upon herself to gather her own little search party to find her man. Linda is completely in shock. And of course, Bradley's fiance is asking, where is he at? So Linda starts to take the fiance and the tour guide that she's brought with her across the island to go find Bradley. Linda purposely takes the fiance up a cliff that she knows the ground isn't stable. The fiance falls, and Linda allows the fiance and the tour guide to fall to their death. Linda goes back to the campsite and is completely withdrawn. Meanwhile, Bradley decides to go hunting on his own. And while doing so, he finds the bodies of his fiance and the tour guide. He immediately goes and finds Linda. He confronts her, and this is when all hell breaks loose. They chase each other around the island trying to kill each other, and while doing so, Bradley comes across a beach house. This is where we get a flashback, and come to find out, Linda knew about this beach house majority of the time, but she was purposely keeping this from Bradley because she was enjoying having power over him. They both end up fighting in the house, with Linda killing Bradley. The movie ends with Linda becoming a best-selling author by telling her story and capitalizing off of being the only survivor of the plane crash. There are so many themes and so many questions that come to mind with this movie. I think a lot of people think this movie is about revenge, but I think it's more so about greed, power and greed from both ends, right? In the beginning of the movie, you have Bradley, who is obviously misusing his power. And then you also have Linda at the end of the movie, who is greedy with her power as well. So, question number one, and answer in the comments. Do you agree with Bradley that it takes more than brains to be in a leadership position? I personally agree. Throughout my career, I have realized that sometimes people don't give a damn about the correct answer. A lot of times people just want you to make them look good. Question number 2. If roles were reversed and you were given power over someone or people that made your life difficult, would you lead by example and show them how it should be done? Or would you seek revenge and become the boss that you hate? Throughout my career, I've heard people complain about leadership, but then once they get in leadership, they either do the same thing or even worse because people really do become drunk with power. Which leads me to number 3, which really isn't a question, just an observation. Extreme circumstances really reveal people's true character. In the movie, there's a scene where the plane is crashing, and Linda has successfully gotten her seatbelt on. Meanwhile, everybody else is getting thrown around the plane because they don't have their seatbelt on. One of the guys is hanging on to her seat and he's yelling at her, saying, "Give me your seat." And she's looking at him like, "What?" And that's just an example of an emergency or extreme circumstances, people's true character really show. Here you are telling her that my life is more important than yours. Like, what? My overall rating for this movie is an A minus. I really like this movie. I thought it was funny. It was upbeat. It kept my attention. And like I said before, it's so many lessons, so many different themes, so many questions come to mind with this movie. I really think everybody did a great job with the acting, and I think the storyline was on point. As I always say, don't take my word for it. Go see it for yourself. Thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate you being here, and I will see y'all in the next one. Taking over